Hello, this is Claus Jensen, and welcome to a video analysis of a game I played very recently on chess.com. On chess.com I'm playing under the handle Cludy, and I'm currently rated 25 something, and my opponent in this game is rated 2300 something. The reason why I show you this game is that it has some very nice attacking ideas that can arise from the 6-H3 line against the Najdorf. So I'm playing the white pieces here, and let's just start the Najdorf Variation, a very well-known line. And I've been experimenting quite a lot with this 6-H3 move here. See, this is the Najdorf and then H3, and from this line there can be some very interesting attacking ideas, as we shall see here. My opponent plays e5, knight d2, e2, b6, b6, g4, standard maneuver in this line, and f4 here, which is also a normal idea, is to play f4, perhaps kingside castle first and then f4, but I played f4 immediately. Rook c8, knight d5, bishop takes, e takes, knight a5, and now I have to play b3 here to stop this knight from going to c4, and now this knight is in effect out of the play right now. It cannot go to c6 and it cannot go to c4. Queen c7, castles, castles, knight g3, which is also a normal move in these lines. Knight b7, trying to get this knight back into play, and knight f5, again a very typical maneuver to put this knight on f5. From here it eyes the d6 pawn, the e7 bishop, and perhaps can participate in some kind of attack here on the black king side. And the problem here is for black is that not many of his pieces are defending his king, and we shall see that this is very dangerous for black. If he tries something natural, like let's say knight c5 here, then would follow a little tactic here: f takes e5, d takes e5, and d6, losing black a piece, and of course would be winning for me. So knight c5 won't work here. And another point is, of course, that black cannot take the pawn on c2, because then the bishop on e7 is hanging because of my knight f5 move here. So also queen takes c2 doesn't work. And another point here is that, let's say black plays something like rook f to e8, for example. Then I think the idea f takes, d takes, and then the bishop sack on h6 is working. G takes, queen takes, then for example bishop f8 to cover the checkmate on g7, queen g5 check, king h7, and taking the knight on f6 is winning. I think 2 pawns up and a very strong attack as well. So this was an idea if black had chosen something like rook f to e8. In the game instead, black played queen d7, and now another attacking idea was what I saw here. I played, and perhaps you should pause the video and try and see if you can find a tactic here that could be an exercise if you want to. But let's go to the game. In the game I played the very interesting knight takes g7, and what I was planning here was a nice line: king takes g7, f takes, d takes, bishop h6 check, king a7, bishop takes, rook takes, queen g5, queen d6, and now a very nice rook takes f6, bishop takes, bishop e4 check, king goes, and then the checkmate. That would have been a very nice line, but after my knight takes g7, which is in effect sacking a knight for 2 pawns and give for compensation a strong attack, or immediately winning back material, then black played knight takes g4 instead, and this is probably better than being mated as we saw before here. So h takes g4, And then perhaps the best continuation for black would have been queen takes g4, but still in this position this is still good for me, I think. A pawn up and more. Yeah, I can take the exchange here, of course. I can play bishop takes f8, and this would be winning for me as well. But in the game, my opponent took on g7, looking very natural also. F takes g takes, bishop takes h6 check, king g8. And now, of course, I have this very strong attack. Their king is very vulnerable, and both of my bishops are good attackers, and I can also bring a rook or two and my queen to participate in the attack. So I played a rook a to e1, bringing my last piece into action here, and one of the points is that now if queen takes g4, then rook takes e5, and then, for example, rook moves away from the bishop, then rook f4 is devastating for black. Rook f to e8 followed in the game, and rook f3 followed. At this point I don't care about the g-pawn. In fact, I believe black does me a favor to take this g-pawn now, this queen takes g4. Now follows king h2, and the point here is that it makes space for rook g1, and it supports the rook g3, which is the direct threat, because then the queen would be pinned in the g-file. My opponent plays bishop h4, is dealing with this rook g3 threat, but now I can simply play rook g1, and which is of course then a discovered attack whenever I move my bishop g2 away. King has to go away from the g-file. Now I played bishop g7. Perhaps more accurate here was bishop h3. Then queen takes, bishop g7, king, and bishop f6 check would lead to mate, I think, and this would of course be more accurate. But I played bishop g7 check. King cannot take here, then bishop h3, and the queen is pinned in the g-file. So queen takes g7, rook h3, pinning the bishop in the h-file, queen f6, rook f1, queen g6, and then came rook takes h4 with check, king g7, bishop e4, queen has to move away, and then came queen g5 check, and my opponent will be mated very soon. Very strong attack, 2 rooks in the h and the f files, the queen in the g file, and a strong bishop on e4. This is of course hopeless for black, and he decided to resign here. And I hope you enjoyed this attacking game, and I hope you can see some of the attacking ideas that can arise from this h3 variation against the Najdorf. And I hope to see you on my blog at klausjensen.com. Bye bye for now.